are you doing this lovely day?
I'm great, thank you. Yeah, it's actually a
What,
little
what,
chilly here, but no, it's all good. It's probably much warmer
what
than it
time is
used.
it in where you are?
It's 11 o'clock right now.
Oh, okay. So it's 2 o'clock here. And we're in May, but I have no idea where May is because we ended up with snow the other day.
Oh,
It's been really, really, really cool there. I need a pen. So I don't know what happened to spring, but I think we're probably going to just go straight into summer this year.
oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So how are you?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good. I'm had a few podcasts and things, so I'm just putting my feelers out there and just connecting with different people and just sort of let you just be guided on what my next step is and just sort of see what. And it's really nice. I'm meeting really amazing people, have great conversations and some possibilities for collaborations.
There
And
you go. Yeah.
yeah, so I think it's just following the breadcrumbs, so to speak.
Yeah.
How
The
about
same with me. I'm kind of talking to you. I'm talking to a couple of other people. I've got a couple of summits coming up. I've got one on Sunday with LaShonda Creative Summit, and then I have another one. Somebody sent me an invitation to one, which I think is going to be the latter part of May, and then I have another one scheduled for the first week of June. So, and I'm thinking of putting something together myself, like a very short um, group, online group meeting for about 4 weeks, and it's going to be more around. I'm kind of churning it around in my head. I better get on it. If I'm going to do it, I need to make a decision to do it. But it's going to be more on energy tapping and anxiety and emotional eating, which I know I'm doing right now. And I'm sure if I'm doing it, other people are doing it as
Oh
well.
yeah, absolutely. No, that's a great topic. It's always a great topic, but especially now. So
Yes.
yeah.
So yeah, I just kind of thought it'd be great to have a little chit chat about, what you do. We had some similarities and who your clients were, and I don't know, just find out a little bit more about each other, that kind of thing, connecting with each other.
Yeah, that sounds great. And it seems I actually just was on your Instagram and had a look on your last few posts, and the one, I just posted something on fear and not let it stop us. And I noticed one of your posts was exactly on that as well. And I thought, oh, well, that's really cool. We're really in line, you know.
And now's the time because I think nobody knows what, 3 months from now, what that's going to look like, right? We don't know. Well, I think in the States they're opening up. So, but who knows what that's going to look like, right?
Yeah. But you know what? I was thinking, really, we never know what's going to happen next. I mean, it's just we live in the illusion that we think we have everything under control and we know what's next. But I've been in an earthquake, and from one moment to the next, life was different, right? And so now with the virus,
Right.
and so we never know. And I think we need to embrace the fact that there's no certainty in life, in the external life, right? And so I think it's a great thing to get used to and make friends with.
And I think it also helps to keep you grounded and not get too far ahead of yourself, and to know that really all you need to know is the next step, really. And and really it's being enjoying the moment. I think more than anything, what I'm learning from this COVID-19 pandemic is to be in the moment. And how, so I'm feeling anxious. Okay, so what can I do about that in the moment? I can breathe, I can find something joyful. I can focus on something that else other than, the uncertainty. I mean, it really is reminding me to kind of, stay present. And and also it's reminding me of simple things. I'm sharing my space right now with, emailed my mom the other day and I said, oh, you're going to be a grandmother. She said, oh, really? How is that going to happen? And I said, oh, this little robin has built her nest
Oh, that's
on my front
sweet.
porch.
That is sweet.
And she's fighting with me for space. So it's my porch, but she's also letting me know that it's hers, because every time I open my door, she flies out of the nest and starts screaming at me. But I just appreciated the fact that, you know, of all the places that she could have built her nest, she chose to do it on my porch.
That is very sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just a simple, sweet little things in life, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, today I got or yesterday I got a box and I got a little gift from my one of my sons who lives in Australia for Mother's Day, and it's the sweetest little bonsai tree with a little lake and with a little saint who was reading his book. And oh my gosh, it just touched me so to just see this little living thing that came out of the box, and just the love that it was given to me with. And yeah, just those moments, they're so precious. And yeah, that's when time stands still, because we're just totally absorbed in the beauty of the moment.
And appreciating the value of it. Yeah, yeah, of simplicity.
Yeah, totally.
Yes, yes. And yeah, because life is, for me right now, yeah, with this COVID thing is not, I've actually lost two relatives with this COVID thing.
Oh,
And
I'm so sorry to hear that,
yeah,
Veronica.
but they're in the UK. I'm not sure how the UK is doing in terms of their planning and their et cetera, et cetera. So, and I also have another relative here who's in quarantine. So, I guess, you know, yeah, you can go down a rabbit hole in terms of, you know, worry, but that isn't going to, you know, it's not going to take you anywhere. It's not going to help you. You know, the energy that you're extending in the worry is not going to make a difference in any way, shape, or form. So it's just wasted energy, really.
Yeah. And I think, often we're conditioned with sort of a worry consciousness, from the past, because we may have lived around people that worried a lot, or we were in scary situations in the past, and that kind of got us into our heads and kind of trying to anticipate the future. But awareness is key. And so when we find ourselves, just to go into the what ifs, and, disappearing in the future somewhere, then, as you're saying, it's great to just stop it right there,
Mm.
acknowledge the fact that, there's fear there, but just bringing ourselves back to the moment. What's here right now? Is this happening this moment? And if it's
And
not, then
what's in your control?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
And really, what's in your control is the next thing. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your breath, as you said, we can
Yes.
focus on the breath and connecting back into our environment, into our bodies, bring ourselves back to this moment. I mean, that's the crazy thing. That's the only thing we ever got, right? And we're hardly ever here.
Isn't that, yeah, yeah. Hardly ever hear. That's a really good way of putting it. Yes. Yeah, 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 yeah. So that kind of connects with the work that you do, I think. You in terms of you do trauma work, is that correct?
Yeah, so what I help people do is when they have problems or issues in their life, relationship or money or health or whatever it is, I help them get to the root cause of this. There's always a little red thread that leads to that external circumstance, to some consciousness inside of us. And so the modalities, the healing modality and the coaching helps to really get in touch with the beliefs, the trauma that may have happened, the old, the pain that we still haven't released, and helps us to release those kind of things. So then, peel off the layers. It's like an onion, and in the middle of the onion is this beautiful potential, the wholeness, the peace. Everything is already here that we ever would need, right? And so this is really what I help my clients to peel off the layers of the lies they may have adopted about themselves, about life, and connect deeper with themselves, their authentic power, and yeah, their resourcefulness, and which of course helps bring them back in the moment, because they're not preoccupied with their unresolved past or the fear in the future, because yeah, it just helps them be more present.
Yeah, it's all about connecting to that inner you, and finding who you are and what your beliefs are, what your values are, what your purpose, what your passion is, and really kind of and embracing that, um, that I've been doing some, one of the things that I've been doing for my own anxiety has been, for some strange reason, I'm going back and listening into swing music, and I'm listening to jazz. And I've also been looking at people's biographies as well, their lives and so forth. I'm seeing that there are a lot of geniuses out there that have been in the music world, but because they were geniuses, didn't actually, in terms of their music, didn't actually make them great people. Not all of them, but there's quite a few that they could bring inspiration to others, but in terms of who they were living with them, um, um, they were a nightmare to live with. I'm thinking of one in particular. I'm thinking of Miles Davis, and I love his music. Well, I don't love it anymore. I mean, I like it. I can't love it anymore because reading his biography and hearing what kind of a person he was, kind of tarnishes his music. The point that I'm trying to get here is that really it's the humanness in all of us, that we are all human beings. And I think it's very easy sometimes to forget that, you're this, you're that, you're gay, you're black, you're white, you're this, and we get caught up in that. But at the end of the day, we're all human, and that it's important that we don't forget the humanness in ourselves and the humanness in others, so that, I don't have to get caught up in that, in whatever craziness is going on with you, whatever trauma is going on with you, whatever unfulfilled issue that's happening to you. You may want to project it onto me, but I don't have to I don't have to be around to take that trauma, and see, I'm strong enough within myself to say, okay, that's your thing. I'm afraid you're going to have to deal with it and work your way through it. I'm not going to allow you to traumatize me because of what you went through. So it's that boundary. So that's part of what I do. Primarily, I mean, I work primarily with women, but a lot of my clients are men. So I don't know how that happens, but that's okay. I think they like to hear a female perspective. But yeah, it's setting that boundary, but understanding that, your humanness and your voice, your space, and that you have a right to that, and that victimization is not. I mean, there's a dialogue that's going on right now that men are abusive and women are victims, with that Epstein thing, and R. Kelly and Bill Cosby and all that. That's a dialogue that's going on in the world, and I would like to be a part of the change of that. That we see each other and respect each other as human beings, as opposed to I'm in power and you're less than, that kind of thing. So that's kind of my philosophy and belief in terms of what I do, in terms of or in terms of where I'm coming from, in terms of the work that I do. Long story, but we got there in the end.
No, I love how you say that, to focus on our commonality, and this is our humanness. We all have emotions. We all have experienced pain, and we can all rise and become better human beings. And we can all experience compassion. We can all experience forgiveness. And yeah, so I love to love what you say, and to not focus on what divides us and the
Mm-hmm.
differences, but what connects us. And there's plenty there.
Yeah, I can love you in your pain, but I can love you as an individual, but I don't have to allow you and your pain. I don't have to allow you to inflict your pain on me. I can still love you, but maybe I can't live with you.
Mm.
And I wish a lot of women would realize that sooner, that you can
Well,
love somebody and appreciate them, but you know, you don't have to be a part of you don't have to be their punching bag for you to be in love with them. Does that make any sense? Huh? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, totally. And I think it's such an important point to be able to learn to have those boundaries and not take anybody else's stuff on. And what I find is really important is for us to develop our self-worth,
Hmm.
and our self-love and our self-respect, because it's already there. But sometimes when, again, going back to the past, when we experience events where we've been abused or mistreated or neglected, and we our belief system is around, I'm worthless, I'm nothing, I'm unlovable, then later on, then we attract those kind of people
Hmm.
that where we create more evidence for our beliefs. People
Hmm.
that don't treat us with respect, people
Hmm.
that dump their stuff on us, and so yeah. So I think it's about healing our own wounds, so we can stand in our power and have our boundaries and say, well, this is yours. Have the awareness to start
Hmm.
off with, that we
Hmm.
don't get sucked into somebody else's drama and make it our own. And
Or that
so
we have to rescue. We're here to rescue that person, or we're here to fix that person, or to make it better. And I think part of that is, as mothers, we tend to want to make the world right for kids and so forth. But we also have to, as a mother, I think a healthy mother learns that their kids are people in their own right. And sometimes the hardest thing to do is to step back and allow your child to go through that process, to be a support there, but to allow them to kind of work their way through and figure out for themselves, what is the right thing for them. It's very, very easy for moms to kind of go in and be hands-on and to take over and to do it and so forth and so on. So yeah, it's all about the boundary and learning all about that. So that's part of what I do. So what got you on this path, in this direction, on this journey?
well, I mean, it started very, very early. I kind of, when I was a teenager, really, I looked around and I sort of thought, wow, people, they work, they go to sleep, they get families, they die, and then go on vacations, and that's life, And I got like, no, there's got to be more to life. It's like an automatic pilot, and so that was, even then I decided, no, there's more to life. I need to find out, the purpose of life, and so to speak, and. So that's sort of what started me on the whole personal development, spiritual journey that I've been on basically ever since. And so, but then I had a time when I was living still in New Zealand, and my life had fallen apart, lost a home, lost everything, money, investments, marriage fell apart. And so, just to cut a long story short, I realized I was feeling the victim at the time, like life was, unfair, and the economy and my ex-husband that did it to me. But I realized, no, there's a part that I played in creating this. And so when I learned that and started to unearth the beliefs, I'm not good enough, I'm stupid, women are second-rate citizens, life's a struggle, men can't be trusted. I mean, all those kind of things. And I could see how they had been the undercurrent getting me to where I found myself, And so when I started to get myself help and spend every single cent on healing practitioners and coaches, and got them to really help me to turn this around, to reprogram my subconscious, to face all my fears, heal childhood wounds. And then as a result, my life changed. and life mirrored a new empowered life, circumstances back to me. I have more income, greater opportunities in my work, I built a business, and then 4 years later I attracted the love of my life, and so now I'm living in Arizona and basically living my dream life. And so I was thinking, I mean, if this is how it works, I mean, if I can do it, anybody can do it. It's just this transformation from the inside out, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, I so agree with you. For me, my journey was very much. I mean, I don't even know how I got into the helping. I just knew that I started out as a social worker. I don't even know why I got into this area. But and I went to school and I got the degrees, etc. But I came to a point where I found I had a lot of head knowledge and head experience. And the clients that were coming to me, for some strange reason, I was dealing with a lot of heavy trauma clients, women whose sons had been murdered, women who'd lost their children. For some strange reason, I was getting those kinds of clients. And I wanted to connect in a different way, because when you have that kind of a trauma, and talking to another, there's nothing I can do to help to fix that. I mean, that's a wound that you have. And I can be there as a support. I can be there as a shoulder for you to cry on. But, your heart is broken, and the challenge is for you to be able to go on and live your life knowing that that your heart is broken. There's a piece of you that will always, that there will always be a hole there because of that child is no longer there. That doesn't mean that you have to fall into that hole or etc. You go on and live your life, but you live your life knowing that your child is not in the world with you. And so you have to find some kind of meaning with that, or make peace with that in some way, so that you can go on living. And whether that means forgiving the person that did that harm to you and your child, whether it, whatever that path is for that person, because I can't tell them, it's their journey. But how can my question to myself was, how can I be of support to this person at this point in time that will help them to move on with this pain? And so I began to look at different ways of healing, and I'm still on that journey. I'm still on that path. And that's where the energy tapping came in. That's where the breath work comes in. Some of the neuro-linguistic programming stuff comes in terms of how we deal with intrusive images, how we deal with pain, how we carry it in our body. And there's a shift going on with me right now, in terms of, movement, how we use energy, all of those kinds of things. I'm moving more in that direction, more right brain kind of ways of connecting. And also not only in terms of my own clients, but in terms of my own growth as a person, dealing with my own stressors, and having to come back to my own, how I deal with my own worries, how I deal with my own, because I was a caregiver to two family members one was mentally impaired and one was physically impaired. And living with that, at some point, I really needed to put some boundaries up. I really needed to realign with my own self-care and self-compassion and kindness to myself. Yes, I was giving it to others, but I also needed to find that for myself. So those are the things that have kind of pivoted me towards doing more of this kind of work, but doing it in a different way, doing it in a healing kind of way. And I'm still on that path and that journey. But it's nice to bring in those things when I'm working with people, and I'm having a dialogue with somebody and I know that this is head stuff. Okay. I got to move beyond the head here and bring in other things and you know, and they look at you like, okay, and you know, go with me a little bit, play with me on this, and you know, we try something and it shifts. They come back the next week and there's been a shift, and I just love to see that. I just love to see people coming into their own, and again, it's the humanness of people. Yeah.
Oh, it sounds like you do wonderful work. And my question, do you think a wound can ever be fully healed? Have you seen that with the modalities that you use to help people help mend their broken hearts? And
You know, it's still there. That hurt is still there, but maybe there's a softening to it. Maybe there's a peace to it. Maybe there's an understanding of it. You know, whether I would call it being healed, that's I don't know. But I think people can come to terms with the loss, and they come to terms with the loss, and or come to terms with their grief in their own way. And whether I call it a broken heart, whatever, but here's the thing, you have to do the work. You know, people don't realize that, and sometimes that work is painful work. Sometimes that work is really hard work. Just going through those emotions. So yeah, but I think there's a softening. I think there's a peace that people can come to. Whether that's healing of a wound, I don't know. I don't know whether I would say that. Whether it's a healing of their heart, I don't know whether I would say that either. It's everybody's journey, and everybody comes to peace with something, I think.
yeah, I think that's a big sign of healing, to move through the cycle of grief and actually come to a place of acceptance. I think that's probably a big part of healing, and to be able to look at this and also not, I think from my experience working with trauma, often the raw emotion has softened, and you know, and they're seeing that there's something good that can even come out of this really
Yeah.
traumatic situation. And I think that's all that leads to a healing and greater empowerment.
That's it. The empowerment, not staying stuck in it, and being able to do something beyond, get beyond that situation and do something bigger, make a bigger impact in the world, or whatever, in terms of that experience. Yeah, but it's still a loss for a lot of people, and it's a tragedy, and
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And so, yeah, I mean, that's a message that I would like to give to our listeners, that if you're experiencing strong emotions, if you feel like you're stuck in emotions, I mean, both you and I, we've got, you know, modalities and ways that we can help you through this and connect back to this deeper part inside of you where, yeah, where you have more peace and understanding and clarity, and you know your next step, and you know, so you don't have to be stuck in those emotions. And you know, right now with this COVID-19 and all the changes, I mean, there's a lot of emotion, a lot of fear, and yeah, I mean, I'm offering right now to just have a 20-minute, if somebody needs a de-stress chat, to and maybe we can put this into the link at the bottom, that I'm available if somebody just wants to have a human to human conversation, you know. So yeah, just want to put that out there if you feel that would be beneficial.
yeah, I call mine a heal, empower, reveal, breakthrough. And it's just 20 minutes, half an hour at the most. Just kind of a different perspective and an opportunity to think, to understand that there is a different way to deal with this. And are you ready to address this issue? Or is it something that you still want to dance with? You know, because people have to be ready, and they have to be willing to let. I think you have to be willing to let go of where you are and the pain that you're in, and to know that there's something better for you on the other side of that of that pain. But you have to be willing to give it up, to let go of it.
Yeah, because often we get something out of being stuck in this, right? We get to be the victim, we can make other people wrong, we can get to be right. I mean, there's a lot of benefits we get sometimes out of being stuck in a certain situation.
And it's familiar. It's familiar, even though it may be painful. It's a comfort zone. You know it. It's familiar to you. And really doing something different may mean that you do something different. It may mean that you have to let go of something. And it may mean that what's different is unknown to you. You're creating space for something new to come in, and you're not really sure what that might be. So, it really is being willing to kind of let go of where you are at that moment. And for some people, that can be that's the fear.
Absolutely.
Fear of the unknown and so forth.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do have a HERB, HERB, Heal, Empower, Reveal, Breakthrough. And we just kind of talk about what's going on, and some ideas. I throw out some ideas in terms of what you might be able to do in order to address that. And then I leave it with people as to whether they want to do it or not, whether they're ready to do it. And some people are, and some people, it sits with them for a while. And then, I just got a call the other day from somebody who I hadn't heard from in over a year. And all of a sudden she called me, and the same thing that we had talked about a year ago was what was facing her right now. And she was now at a point where she was ready to do something about it. So.
We all have to go through our own process, and there's nothing right and nothing wrong, and yeah, it is what it is, and we just have to honor our own truth, but hopefully not let fear hold us back from a greater life, a happier life, more love, more abundance.
Absolutely, yeah, because it's all out there for everybody.